welcome to another installment in Frank's Album Release Week Live Chats. I'm Frank Horvat. Thank you for joining us on a beautiful September sunny day here in Toronto. We're sitting outside the Faculty of Music here in downtown Toronto, so it's a wonderful day. And our special guest for this episode is Ingrid Taheri. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So for those of you who don't know Ingrid is the artistic and executive director of WholeNote Avante Productions. She is also a piano teacher. The reason why I invited Ingrid to join us on this particular chat is because today is sort of a very special day for me in that the third of 4 albums that's being released this weekend that was released today, this morning, is called You Haven't Been. This is the album cover here. Beautiful photography, very, very gripping for me, photography by Jamie Thompson on the cover. You Haven't Been is a solo piano album, and it's an album that's based on my life experience of battling depression and anxiety. Over a number of years, I've tried to figure out ways I can encapsulate what it's like to have to go through through that battle that unfortunately many of us in our world do go through. And it's only in the last couple of years that it seemed to all come together for me emotionally and musically, that I could sort of put into musical words or non-words through the sound of the piano what it feels like to go through this. So how does this relate to Ingrid? Ingrid is part of an amazing organization, WholeNote Avante, that you are the founder of, that is specifically trying to connect the mental health issues that our society is battling right now with the arts and music. And maybe we can start off by you talking a little bit more specific about your mission with WholeNote.
We are raising the image of mental illness by putting on productions that are inspired for both the Grammys and the TED Talks in order to help everyone that's been touched with mental illness. And I guess the way we're doing that is having some concerts. We have one major gala once a year, and Frank is actually going to be part of the next one on February 1st at the Richmond Hill Center for Performing Arts, where we layer the music with the people with lived experience and psychiatrists that give you facts to remove the stigma. Because this is something that is affecting 1 in 5 people during their lifetime, and more than that on an everyday basis. By the time we turn 40, I think half of us will have some kind of mental illness. So why ignore it? Why sweep it under the closet? Why not talk about it and share stories and learn from each other?
So Ingrid, recently you did a telephone interview with me. And it was one of the, I'll be honest, I haven't told you this, but that was one of the most intensive phone conversations I've ever had in my life.
Oh dear.
But no, I want to preface this by saying it was one of the most, in a positive way.
Okay.
I found it very therapeutic, so thank you. I know you're not a trained professional.
No,
not at all, in any way. Let's put the disclaimer here. We are not experts. We are not mental health care providers. But it was very therapeutic in the questions that you were asking me about my own battle. What's your memory of our conversation, and what were some of the things that stuck out for you?
Well, I think you are an amazing person, first of all, and you're very brave. And I think that there are many people like you that, although they may not be composers and pianists, they are a little bit, or were at least in your case, a little bit afraid of sharing their stories because of the stigma that's out there. And I think that it's so unfortunate because that stigma sometimes makes, as you said, the problem bottle up and make them worse. So why not share it a little bit earlier? Because as you said, it felt pretty good after we did share it.
It did, yeah, absolutely. It's amazing.
And I think your life hasn't changed, and people haven't shunned you. And
no.
If anything, they probably came and gave you a hug or something. I hope.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we share the same belief that compassion for people with mental illness is necessary and is something that affects everybody, whether you are a composer, a teacher, a teenager, a lawyer, comedian, anything, and we can all do something to inspire others too.
Sure.
And music is important, right? It's healing.
Right.
So in your case, you use music to express how you felt,
Right.
which you're very lucky to be able to do. Because some people can't do that. They suffer. And so in a way, we're also promoting music, because music is a kind of alternative medicine.
One of the things that stood out to me was the fact that how long I lived where I didn't feel like I can talk about battling depression. And you know what? I, now that I think about it a little bit more, I think it's not because of the fact that I was worried about what people were going to think of me, because I think as a musician there's a part of me that's always sharing, so there's that part of me that was okay with it. I think what was the big issue for me in that was the fact. Exactly. I never for a long time ever wanted to admit that there was something wrong with me. And you see, even the language I'm picking right now, that there's something wrong with suffering from depression. Of course, I'm doing now in my life everything in my power to try to control it and be as happy and healthy as I can. But even there's this stigma that you're tainted somehow because you suffer from depression. And if I admitted it or talked about it, then I would be admitting that I wasn't as strong as I think I should be.
Which is really not very smart of you, right? Because
exactly.
Because if you had, strep throat, or if you had another condition, you broke your arm,
right,
you would go and you would admit that you would go and get help for it, right? So
absolutely.
Why wouldn't you do that for your mental illness?
Absolutely. I shared with you the album a long time ago because I wanted to introduce you to a potential collaboration. What were some of just the sound of the piano? How do you think what you heard just in general, the sound of the piano relates to what we're talking about going through that battle? Well, for
beautiful.
me, thank you. I
wish I
appreciate
could
that.
do what you did. I'm just really impressed. So.
Well, thank you. Especially coming from a pianist and a trained pianist and a teacher, I appreciate that.
About mental illness, I think the fact that we're talking about it is that we're hoping to save some lives. The statistics is something like 30 million people a day across Canada dying by suicide. I think the statistics said that 230,000 Ontarians consider suicide every year seriously. So if we can change their mind by telling people that, yes, sure, life is full of sadness, and yes, we may suffer from depression, we may have other forms of much more serious mental illness than depression too.
Right.
But there's hope, you can get past it, right?
So
we can prevent that. And you can do that with your music.
Well, thank you. I hope so. I'm happy to share. it. But based on what you just said there was so profound, and based on what you say, with all due respect to other, serious illnesses, cancer, heart disease, with all due respect to other sort of common, epidemics we have in our society, one could argue that we are presently, as a society at large, we are presently in a mental health crisis right now, based on the numbers you're saying. So if we are presently in a mental health crisis, why why is perhaps media, society in general, not talking about this in a very more serious, urgent light? Do you have any theories on that?
I think mental health makes the news quite a bit.
It's getting better and better, right?
Yeah, but what kind of mental health makes the news? Is it when somebody does something that's considered crazy, like a crime, and they blame mental illness?
That's a good point.
Or is it because somebody releases a CD that's, the product of somebody's depression?
Right.
I think too much of the negative mental health news makes the news.
Right.
And I think, at least what I find our role behind Avante is to spread the good news, because that's what gives people hope.
Right.
And perhaps that's considered soft news, so that's why media is not necessarily picking up on that.
I've been thinking a lot about this, like how am I going to do a performance in support of this album, and I thought it's important to share a lot of the pieces on this album, but I also want to balance that out with some of the piano pieces that are based on very happy and positive things in my life. And I thought that would be important because of the fact that the overall performance would show that I'm okay, and I'm doing okay, and I'm dealing with this, and I'm working at this, and the reason why I'm able to deal with this is because of the positive things that have happened in my life, and I want to play some of those positive pieces that are a reflection of that were inspired by that. So so I think I'm going to go there,
and at the same time, you will be talking to the audience, and they will be able to ask you questions, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's a very much of an informal type of performance. So listen, thank you everybody so much for watching this. It was a real pleasure to do this. I mean, how we are blessed to be sitting in this beautiful park right on the campus of the University of Toronto to do this on such a lovely day. So we're going to have beautiful memories of watching this in the future, and thinking back to such a lovely day. I want to thank you all so much. I want to thank a lot of my friends and family out there. I did a post earlier this morning with the release of the album, sharing this new piano album. You haven't been thanking family and friends, but honestly, if it wasn't for music, a way for me to share my feelings and stuff, and of course the tremendous love of my family and friends, not to be overly dramatic, one could think, would I even be here today? Would I have given up a long time? I don't know, but I don't even want to think about it because of the fact that you have so much support. And I hope if any of you are battling right now these types of issues, I hope that I can be there for you, just like a lot of you have been here for me, and Ingrid has been here for me, and we seem to all be helping each other. So I think that's really important. If anything, that's the one takeaway we have from this conversation today.
Yeah, don't give up.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you again for being here, and thanks everyone. And if you want to talk more about this, keep chatting at the bottom of the window, all right? So look forward to hearing your thoughts about what we talked about today. Cheers. Talk to you later.
Bye.